comes to the feds and getting a dude, we knew this man might be doing football numbers. And we talked about how unfortunate it was and everything, but the end result being he's going to do some time. And now, 2 years.
Yeah.
For all this, and then all the people, if you add up their time that he put down, you probably it's going to be in the hundreds. Ugh. And then to do music behind that, I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean that kind of is what it is. That whole situation. I think we covered that a lot. I mean, now the trial's coming up after the summer, and we'll be back on it then. Definitely.
Indeed. Until then, I want to move on to this real quick, God, before we get out of here for the weekend. Got one more question for you after this, though. But I seen a picture on IG of Marlon Wayans, and he was with a couple of people: Questlove, Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, Bill Bellamy, all on the same stage. And the caption said, "One night stand at the Comedy Store," and it was comedy. Love every brother in this photo. Now, I was telling you, certain times you can go to these certain sections out in your inner cities or whatever, and you may fuck around and pay a good ticket and see a king of comedy kind of style of lineup for the price of nothing, because they're practicing routines of doing it. That's what they customarily do. And it just kind of got us branching off into different conversations, things like that. One, going to different comedy shows and things like that. Now, talk about this level of, if you walked into a comedy show just to see some local comics and seeing this level of caliber comics go into that, how would you feel? And then go in deeper and thinking, do we need to see this more? And maybe on a broader scale.
Well, we were talking about that. I would like to see, and you definitely co-signed it, a new king of comedy, not removing the old guys, but just the new batch of guys, whether it be Kevin, Cat, Steve, whoever you wanted to put in there. Even you wanted to throw TK in there, whoever, those, core guys are, you should bring them in there. Now, I think that you got Marlon, Dave, Kevin in that picture. I think right there, you got probably your top, comedians. Obviously, someone missing out that picture, but
Cat, Mike.
Yeah. But it's just like those guys right there. I mean, goddamn. I mean, that's a $200 ticket, easy. So I would like to see that again, man. If I had, the opportunity, it would be good to put the money behind that. You know what I'm saying? Someday, and to see, those guys come together on one stage for one event and show that why they're the best at what they do. Because a lot of those guys, man, they have, especially guys like Kevin and Dave, they have transcended and moved the bar so high, as far as, even though we have our disagreements with Kevin all the time and we hate these guys throwing on dresses, we always reprimand them for that. They still have been able to, just kick down some doors, and I got to salute them for that.
Yeah, I mean, we remember the doors that were knocked down when we watched Kings of Comedy for the first time. Now, we were too young to watch in the movie theaters, but we got the DVDs when it came out, and we cracked up in numerous in living rooms because it was just that funny. But even growing older and understanding behind the scenes that it were beefs and gripes between Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey, and this is why this wasn't a Kings of Comedy too. And then when you look down the line and we see the gripes that will go on between comics, and we're not going to throw out the names because we love all these brothers, and why there would not that something so magical like this couldn't happen. I mean, we've seen this throughout comedy, and I would have to put it on ego. You get certain people in certain levels that think they're better than this and this, and they can't put it aside, which I understand because we're two very competitive people as well. And as much as love, and we wish nobody but the best, if we were to go on tour with, say, a certain podcast and number of podcasts, we want to smash each and every motherfucker one of them each and every time we go out there. That's just how competitive we are. So we understand that. But it would just be so dope to see if we could see Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, or Mike Epps, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, a TK, whoever else, go in there and smoke the stage. That would be magical. Now, they were all in there because Dave Chappelle was practicing his routine. Questlove dropped this whole big ass thing. I sent it to you about how magical it was and how people flocked to see Dave Chappelle. Does that when you see that amount of caliber, Marlon Wayans, Cat Williams, or Kevin Hart, Bill Bellamy, we've seen the lineup. When you see that many people in there just to see one dude, would that automatically put him as the best that's doing it right now, in your opinion? And what do you feel? Where does Chris, Dave Chappelle fall in line with you?
I mean, I would say that Dave is up there. You know what I'm saying? I think that maybe people think that they're better, but they got that much respect, such a high level of respect for him. Almost like Michael Jordan. You got your Kobe that'll come out. You got these other players that could come out. Whoever you want to put in there and that whole thing. But it's like, all right, yeah, we good as hell too. but he's that dude. We're showing him respect. That's all I think that is. I think if you ask, you know, somebody, they might say that they're better than Dave, but then the next guy might say, well, no. And the next guy might not even answer the question. He might try to go around it. But I think it's the level of respect is so high for a guy like Dave and what he was able to do and how he keeps it fresh. Now, I ask you this, though, saying, man, out of that group, who do you think is the best one in that group?
Chappelle.
Easy.
Hands down.
Number two.
Let me pull it out real quick again. It's not too far. Number two in there, I'm going to go with
Kevin.
No, hell no.
Damn.
I'm going to go
Damn.
with, it's too much up there.
All right.
I'm going to go with Marlon up there too, and I'm going to give Chris Rock 3. I'm going to give Bellamy 4, and I'm going to give Kevin 5 up there. Now, and that's just because, and Mike Epps was talking about this, I got nothing but love for Kevin Hart. Watching him since he was Kev the Bastard, seen his very first one, watched each and every one of them, seen his movies, voted for him, rooted for him, wanted to see him win, think he's fucking hilarious. Just think he's watered down right now. And it may just because of the backlash. He's trying to portray an image. We see what he's trying to do in Hollywood, trying to keep it safe, understand. But in comedy, there is no safety line. And when I look at these people, I'm looking at the brothers who care less about that safety line and are going to take it all the way there. Dave Chappelle has a great ability to tell you a story and keep you thinking and keep you learning while towing that line of each and every topic that people just don't want to fucking talk about. Yeah, he's going to take some backlash, but so what? He's going to go on LGBTQ. He's going to go in on Trump. He's going to go in on blacks. He's going to go in on whites. You're going to get it all. And he's going to give it in such an articulate way that you can't help but to respect him. Marlon Wayans also does the same thing, maybe in a different style, but still gives it to you unapologetically raw. I like that. Chris Rock getting there, but even he's taking backlash and going away. Bill Bellamy's always been raw. Kevin Hart does it the least. I got to give him the
I got a question for you, though. As you come to the end there, how many guys in that picture would you put on the dress?
Well, let's see how many have. Marlon has. Kevin has. Chris has.
Damn.
I don't remember Bill Bellamy ever doing it. You can look that up. And a lot of people want to throw Dave Chappelle in there with
the Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Yeah. What do you wear? Tights?
Yeah. Men in tights and shit. But nah, I'm not giving him that one.
Nah.
I'm not giving him that one.
And I was just kind of throwing that in there or whatever.
Now you love that. They love getting you with that dress shit.
I mean, nah, but it's just like when you look at it though, it's like, whoa. In perspective. You know, and it is what it is. I wouldn't say that it takes away, you know, per se from a man that much. You know, but we recognize the pattern, man. Definitely.
No, man, indeed. I mean, and then, but you look at the Hollywood movies that they gross too. In a Dress, White Chicks did some great numbers. In a Saturday Night Live bit when Kevin Hart threw in a dress, it did great numbers. What's the movie he did when he was getting slapped on the ass by The Rock? That did great numbers. Chris Rock when he was on Will Smith as that girl, great numbers. So,
speaking of White Chicks, you know, White Chicks 2 is about to be coming out. I think they said that. What's my man's name? The dude that grabbed his
yeah, don't say that because
yeah, I know the dude. I'm not gonna say
Terry Crews. Yeah, I'm playing with you, man.
He announced that. He announced that White Chicks 2, I think, is gonna be coming out too. What do you think about that?
I used to like Terry Crews a lot, but take off the tap shoes for a little bit, big dog.
Right.
Stop tap dancing for a little bit now. I do respect and I like the Wayans brothers a whole lot. And I would love to have them on the podcast to show them respect, but also ask them about white chicks. Because one, the whole dress issue, we've talked about it a lot on this podcast. So if we have somebody that we respect that put on the dress, got to ask them the question. And two, what is the thinking behind just white chicks in general and how it gives or does it give, in their opinion, bad stigma to the black male image, something that is severely damaged out here, in particular in Hollywood, something trying to be put on a better portrayal of. And I think the Wayans brothers as a whole, as brothers, do a great job of doing that. But I think that white chicks kind of takes away from that. So I would just love to ask them.
You know, it's just, for me, it's like, I get this part where people come in and they say, well, look, man, it's just acting.
Me too.
It's supposed to be funny. They're just doing this for this. I 100% get that. You're getting your money for it. But it's just like, why do that? What is the thinking behind you dressing up not only as a woman but a white woman and make it what is the you know the genius behind that?
No, they're making fun of white women the whole time.
I get that.
They're making fun of them the whole time.
I get that, but still, it's just like what you got to do to yourself to put yourself in that position to do that. Why? Is all I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have to answer that because I'm not putting on no dress and doing that. I'm
just saying, it's just like, why? That's all I'm saying. Just why? I don't know why.
Who does anybody, any actor out there, black actor, disappoint you the most by doing what they did? Did you have expectation of one so high that when they did it, it dropped it so much?
Kevin Hart was one. Disappointed. Now, for some reason, like Martin.
Maybe because we were kids?
Yeah, probably. But like, you know, when you get older and you learn different things, it makes you a little bit like, whoa, come on, man. Like, nah, you ain't got to do that. Like, just tell them you ain't want to do it, and you'll do something else. Lose that bag.
Right.
Then it goes to show you, like, what won't you do for the money? If you're willing to do that, which I will probably say that most men wouldn't.
Right.
But what else are you willing to do for the money?
Yeah, I mean, well, we all know for success, stardom, and public perception, Kevin Hart would water down his comedy for it. And
I hate to be in this position where it feels like, you know, that we, you know, coming down on people and trying to judge them and we on their pockets. I don't care about none of that.
I would want to clap up Kevin Hart and tell him how supportive I am, even though I have some things that I disagree with, because I genuinely have respect for him. I've watched him do it since he was in the beginning, and I'm very happy where he's at. But I got to keep it real. We do this and we signed up for this. We knew, all right, look, man, it's going to be some lines that we're going to have to tone, that even though we got a lot of respect for these people, they may even see us on the street, because we ain't going to sit here and walk around scared. We're going to move these streets and walk this city, and we're going to run into people if we do. We got to stand by our word. And this ain't an easy conversation to have, because we love each and every one of the people we talking about, but we just got to keep it 100.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to see no more, even though they say White Chicks 2 is coming out. I don't want to see no more brothers putting on no dress like that and emasculating themselves. I just don't want to see it no more, man. I think it's that all right, it was a thing of the past. You did it. It was funny. Let's move forward. You know what I mean? As a race, as a culture, from doing stuff like that.
I think, you know what, in particular, my bad to cut you off. Shawn Wayans in particular, right? Because Shawn Wayans gets a lot of gripe. He's getting called this. He gets called that. He gets called the weak one. And I've seen so many interviews with Shawn Wayans where he is funny as shit. I watched him live on stage do his stand-up, and he's funny as hell. And I would love to sit down and ask him. And the response may be hilarious, because he's not a social media dude. He ain't out there like that. Real private, stays with his family, stays with his kids, does his thing. Why, in particular, you? Because Marlon seems as though he's the one that doesn't care. He's out there more. This gives you even a more bad name. Why would you even go with it even further? And just hear his response, because I got a ton of respect for him and have listened to what he has to say and understand him more than what public perception sees him as, especially in the comment section and shit, which don't matter, but I would just love to know.
Yeah, you know.
What do you think of Shawn Wayans?
I don't really know too much about him. I mean, really, from just watching them back on the show was the Wayans Brothers show.
Yeah.
And you know, that's pretty much all I kind of know of Shawn. But again, I think these conversations, and I'm thinking that, like, when the guys go to the Breakfast Club, I would like to hear them, you know, ask, you know, if we sat down with Dave, if we sat down with Kevin, if we sat down, you know, with Martin or Jamie or guys who, you know, put on the dress, I would ask them to their face, why did you feel like you had to put on that dress? And then continue to ask more questions as we got deeper. That's something that we 100% will want to do to these guys' face and get some type. Maybe maybe they, like I said, maybe they got a perfect explanation of why they had to do it. I mean, they had to get the money. They was paying out 20 mil or 5 mil. I had to do this at this time to get to this level, like Tyler Perry says. We could talk about it, but I would just like to know, before we go on to bashing them and calling them this and that and saying they sellouts, let's have conversations, have a dialogue on why you put on the dress.
We're getting to that level so that we can have these conversations and keeping it as respectful as we can until we get there, but at the same time, keeping it as 100 as we got to. With the Uncensored Truth, Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, we got to do what we got to do.
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Definitely. But yeah, man, another powerful episode. Episode number 187 is in the books, man. If you enjoyed the podcast today, please do not forget to subscribe and go ahead and leave us a rate and let us know what you think of the content today. And be sure to peruse through our podcast list.
It's only one.